Hello friends, we have some tough news from Poland, from high-profile crimes to court verdicts. In this video we discuss 3 high-profile incidents involving, unfortunately, Ukrainians. We have a shocking case in a daycare center in Opole, a fatal drunk driving accident in Lublin, and a scandal involving animal abuse. Nevertheless, despite such headlines, please give a like, support the channel, like and subscribe friends. Now let's get to the point. A scandal in Opole, an incident in a daycare center, and the authorities' reaction. Let's start with a topic that hits the most sensitive issue, children's safety. It's high profile and widely discussed. Such a story in Poland has mobilized the city authorities, the prosecutor's office, and of course has caused hype and justified public outrage. In a private nursery, in a private kindergarten, a case of child abuse was recorded in a private daycare center in the city of Opole, and it led to immediate dismissal and a police investigation. It's all on the surveillance cameras. It's not just, someone said something or someone made something up. No, it's all recorded on video. It happened back on Monday at 7 a.m. The parents of a 2-year-old boy, a little younger actually, noticed something was wrong. In the evening, during bath time, there were obvious bruises on the child's body. The next morning, they demanded that the management of the institution give them access to the surveillance camera footage. And the footage revealed some unpleasant details. For half an hour, the group of 14 children was supervised by an employee who usually didn't work with them. Yes, I think that's an important point. The footage clearly shows how the woman behaved unreasonably aggressively toward the little boy, pulling him by the arms, shaking him hard, and taking him into blind spots behind the furniture. The father said the child's head was wobbling from being shaken. And now, of course, the child is stressed, doesn't leave his parents' side, and as the publication says, is showing signs of psychological trauma. Well, the reaction of the management and in general the legal qualification of all this outrage. The reaction was immediate because on Tuesday, right after the conversation between the kindergarten management and the parents, the Ukrainian woman was dismissed under the relevant provision. So that's what happened with this teacher. The parents filed a formal complaint with the police headquarters. Polish law enforcement initially classified the woman's actions under the article about endangering a person under care. The danger of death or serious bodily harm. Well, that's how it is, nothing more, nothing less. The sanctions under this article provide for a real prison term. Well, in short, the prosecution is preparing all the charges right now. And the case got such a response that the city authorities of Opole officially initiated total inspections of safety conditions and, in general, the qualifications of the staff in all the city's kindergartens. It's kind of unclear what was going on in this woman's head. Professional burnout? Some personal trait? And I wouldn't want to say cruelty? Well, I believe that there's no excuse for this when it comes to defenseless children. Yes. In Poland, safety standards in preschools are high. And you see, having cameras makes actions like this obvious. Whether you're a foreigner or a local, well, damn. As you can see, for violence against a child, the state system, the judicial system will punish as harshly as possible. It's sad, yeah. Next we have a tragedy in Lublin. Unfortunately, another deadly drunk driving accident. Here it is. The pressing issue of road accidents, unfortunately, doesn't end. In the first story, hidden aggression happens behind closed doors, but here the tragedy is public and again sparks debate about foreigners' behavior on the roads. A severe accident happened in Lublin, resulting in the death of a person. It all took place on Friday, June 12, around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, at 1 in the afternoon, so it's not like it was at night. Well, although nighttime wouldn't be an excuse either. What I mean is, most people aren't drunk at 1 p.m. in broad daylight. Lublin, Sikorski Avenue. A tragedy happened. The driver of a Volkswagen hit a man who was on the pedestrian crossing. The impact was so strong that the victim was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, but unfortunately there was no miracle. Despite the doctor's efforts, the pedestrian died in the hospital. At the scene, the police quickly detained a citizen of Ukraine, 39 years old. A young guy, not almost, just like me, I'm 39 too. His reckless driving made sense after the alcohol test. He was over the limit with a blood alcohol level above 2 per ml. At the moment, investigators under the supervision of the prosecutor are figuring out what exactly happened. Well, it's clear what happened. They're collecting evidence. The article presents it in an interesting way. They're trying to find out who exactly was behind the wheel at the moment of the fatal crash. So maybe he had passengers, right? Or maybe not. Well, friends, let's turn on some harsh legal pragmatism. If it's proven that the detained citizen was the one behind the wheel, well, the consequences for him will be catastrophic. In Poland, for causing an accident while intoxicated that results in someone's death, there is a severe punishment. From 5 to 20 years of actual imprisonment with no possibility of a suspended sentence. In addition, the perpetrator faces a lifetime ban on driving vehicles. Such criminal cases are a guaranteed ticket to a Polish prison. After serving the sentence, I am 99% sure there will inevitably be forced deportation with a permanent ban on entering the Schengen area. Drunk driving is a crime that has no nationality, but it damages the reputation of the entire migrant community. The Polish justice system is ruthless towards drunk drivers who kill on the road, and that's a very good thing. In short, let's hope the person responsible for this tragedy will be held fully accountable by the law. In short, it's negative. Don't drive drunk. It's dangerous. And our third story is a scandal in Gdańsk. We're wrapping up our agenda with a lighter story against the overall grim background, but still a telling one from sunny Gdańsk. There were no human casualties here, but it caused quite a stir on social media. Law enforcement officers detained, and judging by the photos quite harshly, a young Ukrainian. The guy is 21 years old. My God, what's going on in your head? And he decided that his pet was an object for venting his aggression. Let's break it down. By the way, here's an interesting case of how digital traces from last year helped restore justice, right? And in general, do they deport violators or not? By the way, this is the Thais Przemozy district in Gdańsk. Also write in the comments where you're watching from. Which city? Let us know. Dennis, I'm watching from Gdańsk, from Genoa. Where are you watching from? There is a non-governmental animal protection organization. They gave the police a video recording that was made in October of 25. In the footage, you can see that the guy, while out for a walk, it's written in the article, kicks the dog and lifts it by the collar. Forensic experts identified the apartment, established the person's identity, and detained him in a gaming arcade. The chocolate-colored dog was taken to a shelter. In Poland, such actions rarely go unnoticed. According to the National Police Headquarters, about 3,000 criminal cases are initiated each year in the country for animal cruelty. The Ukrainian, by the way, just ended up in the statistics. Only about 20 cases make it to court, that is about 600, but if the process is initiated, the likelihood of a guilty verdict is more than 80%. At the same time, more than a third of the verdicts result in either actual or suspended prison sentences. According to the law, our hero faces up to 3 years in prison. And here we switch to a mode of legal pragmatism. Yes, there won't be an automatic expulsion right now. First, there will be a trial. According to Polish law, in general, the statute on newcomers, the law on foreign foreigners, deportation, or as it's called, removal, threatens a foreigner in the case of a real prison sentence. If the guy gets off with a fine or a suspended sentence, he won't be kicked out immediately. However, any criminal conviction is basically the end of legalization. He will be denied a visa extension or residence card. Once his documents expire, authorities will deport him from the EU and ban his re-entry. Well, Polish society, my friends, is pretty strict when it comes to animal protection. And this 21-year-old guy managed not only to get himself a criminal charge, but also to completely wipe out his legal existence in Europe. First comes the trial, then the sentence, and after that, everything is uncertain. Of course, if the judge wants to make an example out of him, they'll put him in jail and then deport him right after. Well, after he serves his 6 months, or however long it is. Well, it's hard for me to explain. It's honestly hard for me to understand why people hurt animals at all, you know? You got yourself a pet, come on. Well, either take it to a shelter or at least value it somehow, respect it, don't hurt it, right? Or am I wrong? Write in the comments. So friends, thank you very much for your attention. That's all for now. Take care of yourself, your loved ones, and treat your pets well. See you next time.